Ah, Monday? For many, a word that carries the unspoken weight of 1,000 sighs. The abrupt end to weekend reverie, the harsh awakening to responsibility's cold embrace. It is a universal phenomenon, this collective dread, a weekly descent into the mundane. But what if, for one unassuming office, Monday was not merely a return to routine, but a guaranteed gateway to the utterly absurd? This is the story of Sterling & Co., a small, otherwise unremarkable marketing firm nestled on Elm Street. For years, this office has been the unwitting stage for a recurring phenomenon, a weekly comedic ballet of mishaps, miscommunications, and outright mayhem. This is not a tale of the supernatural, mind you, but of an observable pattern, a consistent, almost ritualistic unraveling of the ordinary, exclusively between the hours of 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. every Monday morning. We call it, simply, the Monday morning mirth. And you thought your Mondays were bad? Welcome to Sterling & Co., a bastion of sensible spreadsheets and strategic marketing plans. 5 years ago, it was just another office, until one fateful Monday, then another. And then another. Ah, yes, Mondays. The mere mention of the word evokes a visceral reaction from the human psyche. A shudder, perhaps a groan, maybe even a well-rehearsed string of expletives. At Sterling & Co., they took many forms. The missed deadlines, the frantic all-hands meetings, the cascade of urgent emails threatening to drown one in a sea of stress. But there were other, more subtle manifestations of the Monday malaise. It was the palpable tension that seemed to grip the office the moment one stepped through the door on a Monday morning. It was the cloud of stale coffee hanging heavy in the air, a grim reminder of the long hours one had spent hunched over a desk trying to make sense of the weekend's worth of data. It was the haunting echo of keyboard strokes, the relentless ticking of the clock, the phantom smell of burnt breakfast. All of these, and yet nothing so tangible as to be pointed to and named. The incidents began subtly, a misplaced stapler, a stubborn printer refusing to cooperate. Small, everyday annoyances easily dismissed as mere inconveniences. But then the pattern solidified. The mishaps grew bolder, more theatrical, and undeniably, irrevocably, Monday-centric. The office coffee machine, for instance, took to dispensing lukewarm tea on Mondays. On particularly challenging Mondays, it would froth violently, spraying hot water like a wounded geyser. Then there were the computers. Every Monday morning they would freeze in unison, as if possessed by an invisible force, each displaying the same error message. You are being monitored. No one could explain it. Colleagues would arrive bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, even Fridays, and the office would hum with quiet efficiency. But the stroke of Monday morning, it was as if the very air thickened, charged with a mischievous energy. At first, the mood was one of quiet resignation. People came to accept that Mondays at Sterling & Co. were not like other days of the week. They were worse, much worse. Then the resignation hardened into a kind of grim acceptance. After all, it wasn't just their office, it was every office. Mondays were universally dreadful, and so it went for years. But then something unexpected happened. Or perhaps it's more accurate to say, someone. For his first 3 years at Sterling & Co., Leo had been just another face in the crowd, another victim of the dreaded Monday morning mirth. But something shifted. His colleagues started noticing him. They watched in bewildered fascination as he not only weathered the weekly tempest, but seemed to thrive within it. It was as if he'd discovered some hidden truth about the nature of Mondays at Sterling & Co. While everyone else saw disaster, he saw opportunity. Where his colleagues saw a curse, Leo saw a delightful, weekly, unpredictable challenge. A game, really, where the rules were clear. Don't let Monday get the better of you. Now, it isn't to say that Leo was immune to the Monday morning madness. His computer froze as often as anyone else's. And the coffee machine had a personal vendetta against him, it seemed. But whereas others cursed the chaos, Leo found a strange sort of beauty in it. In the grand scheme of things, he reasoned, these were but minor inconveniences. A little patience, a dash of good humor, and even the most outrageous Monday mishaps could be overcome. So while his colleagues despaired, Leo persevered. And in doing so, he discovered something extraordinary. The more he embraced the absurdity, the less power it had over him. Slowly but surely, he built a reputation as the office jester, the man who not only survived Mondays, but seemed to enjoy them. And in the process, he transformed the way his colleagues approached the most dreaded day of the week as well. Welcome to the archive of the Marth, where we preserve humanity's greatest triumphs over the daily grind. Our first recorded incident comes from a chilly November morning. The coffee machine, usually our morning's benevolent deity, had become a rogue automaton. It spat lukewarm, unidentifiable liquid, refusing to yield the life-giving elixir the team so desperately craved. Panic rippled through the office. Despair, it loomed large. Then Leo arrived. He didn't curse. He didn't bang on the machine, simply leaned in, listening intently to its wheezing groans, as if communing with a troubled mechanical spirit. With a thoughtful hum, he retrieved a discarded paperclip, meticulously straightened it, and with the precision of a surgeon, poked and prodded at a tiny unseen valve. The machine hiccuped. It gurgled, and then with a triumphant hiss, it began to brew. Not the usual robust dark roast, but a peculiar, surprisingly palatable blend that tasted faintly of maple syrup. "Ah," Leo declared, holding up a cup. A seasonal surprise. Perhaps the machine's inner spirit decided to celebrate autumn. The team, initially wary, found themselves chuckling. A small, unexpected victory. The Monday had started with a glitch, but Leo had transformed it into a shared, quirky anecdote. The following Monday, the mirth manifested in the form of the office printer. It was not merely jammed, it was actively hostile. Pages emerged blank, upside down, or covered in abstract art generated from confidential spreadsheets. The collective blood pressure of Sterling & Co. began its rapid ascent. "It demands an offering," Leo announced, surveying the chaotic output. He then, to the astonishment of all, placed a single perfectly crisp chocolate chip cookie on the scanner bed. A peace offering for its diligent service. And as he did so, with a gentle, almost reverent tap to its side, the printer began to whir. Slowly, reluctantly, but correctly. Coincidence, perhaps, but for the weary office, it felt like magic. The Monday after that brought a more personal crisis. Ms. Davies, the stern but fair team lead, found herself locked out of the office. Her keys, she was certain, were still on her kitchen counter. A frantic search for a spare ensued. The clock was ticking. Deadlines loomed. Perhaps, Leo suggested, a mischievous glint in his eye. "This is Monday's way of encouraging us to work from the park today." Ms. Davies scoffed, but a seed of a smile was planted. Ultimately, a spare key was found, hidden in a surprisingly obvious, overlooked spot thanks to Leo's think-outside-the-box approach. But the suggestion, the momentary liberation from the usual office walls, had shifted the mood. And so the legend of Leo and the mythical office machine grew, becoming a beacon of hope in a sometimes uncaring corporate world. Or perhaps it was all just a series of fortunate coincidences. You decide. Do you feel like you're stuck in a rut? Does your work life need a dash of whimsy, a sprinkle of magic? Maybe you just need a good laugh. Whatever your ailment, we at the Art of Mirth have the cure. From laughter yoga to joy from afar, we've got your happiness covered. So why wait? Click below to see how we can help inject some much-needed merriment into your Monday and every day. Don't forget to subscribe for your weekly dose of joy. Because here at the Art of Mirth, we believe that life's too short for bad jokes. And yours truly, Leo, reminding you to always carry a chocolate chip cookie for offerings to the printer gods. Until next time, stay merry. Over time, the Monday morning mirth became less of a curse and more of a curious tradition. The team, once dreading the start of the week, now approached it with a strange mixture of apprehension and anticipation. What fresh absurdity would this Monday bring? And how would Leo, their resident alchemist of calm, respond? The office culture began to subtly transform. Small acts of kindness, shared laughter, a collective sense of camaraderie emerged from the shared experience of these weekly trials. The mishaps didn't stop, but their power to derail the day diminished. They became shared stories, bonding moments, peculiar milestones in the company's unofficial history. Alexander, our original observer, reflects. It wasn't that the problems vanished, it was that our collective reaction shifted. Leo didn't eliminate the chaos. Heya taught us to dance with it. Perhaps the Monday morning mirth was never a curse at all. Perhaps it was simply the collective energy of the week's most challenging day manifesting as minor irritations. And perhaps Leo, with his unwavering optimism and unique perspective, was not merely solving problems, but subtly altering the very fabric of how his colleagues perceived their reality. He showed them that even in the face of inevitable, recurring annoyances, there is always room for a laugh, for a shared moment, for the quiet triumph of choosing joy over exasperation.